Hello. Right now we're going to look at using input function with numerical values. So let's say I wanted to ask how many books or how many pencils do you have in your backpack? So let's call this pencils. Input how how many books or pencils are in your backpack? All right, great. Now, in this case, um, we are going to get a value, uh, and our value is going to be a string. So I'll show you that. So if I run this program, let's just name it pencils. It's going to ask how many you have, and I'm going to say 1. If I do the type of pencils, it's going to tell us that the class is str, which stands for string. Now, what makes that a problem is if I use an if statement, if pencils is equal 0, then say print you should buy some pencils. Elif pencils are uh, um, less than 2, print you are ready for class. And then we'll do an else. So if it's more than 2, you'd say print that is a lot of pencils. All right, now if I run this, it's going to ask me, and I'm going to say 0, and then it comes with an error. It says less than is not supported between instances of a string and an integer. So they're saying this is a string and an integer. So we need one small step in here to force this string pencils into an integer. We'll say pencils equals the string of pencils. So what are not string? It is a string. We want it to be an integer. So this forces this string, pencils, into being an integer, and then it saves it as the same variable, pencils. So now when we have this, pencils equals 0, now it should run, because now we have an integer and integer. How many? 0. You should buy some pencils. Now if I pick a number that's not 0, but let's say 1, you're ready for class. And one thing I want to point out here is when I put in 1, it comes down here and sees 0, and it knows that that's not the case. So it doesn't read this at all, and it just skips to the next line directly below it. Elif pencils are less than 2. Some people might be a little confused because when we typed in 0 before, 0 is less than 2. They're wondering how come it didn't print this out as well. Well, as soon as it prints out, it skips all of the if, elif, and else, and it goes to the end of the code. And there's nothing else here, so it just ends. Now, if we run this finally, how many pencils are in your backpack? If we said 300, it'd say that's a lot of pencils.